In this video, I am going to provide you with a method that I believe is the easiest one you're going to be able to use to install a set of concrete stairs between two fixed walkways or patios, or a lower level and an upper level that is already established, even if these walkways are offset and might create an angled stairway. And of course, the star of this video is going to be the guide board, or anything you could use to create a straight line from this corner to this corner. And this is actually one of the most popular methods used by most masons or people working with concrete stairs. However, it's going to take a little more work to figure out how many units you might need to create a nice tread or riser length and height, or something that would work with your local building codes. So let's go ahead and take our guide board and remove the soil we're going to need for the stairway, and then provide you a view of the stairway so that I can point out one of the things you're not going to get out of this method. And that will be to position the first step right here. However, I'm going to try and make another video and create a playlist for a variety of different problems you could have and solutions that would also create a few different designs and make it easier for viewers who might be having a difficult time trying to figure out what I'm doing here. So here you can see the steps laid out if we were going to lay them out like we would a stair stringer. And that's going to work its way all the way down to this point here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is measure from this point here at the bottom, and it'll help for you to draw a line on the top of the guide board. And you're simply going to measure from this point to this point. And in our example, we have 7 foot 1 7/16, or 85 7/16 inches. And then we're going to divide this up into equal units. That will look something like this. And to figure out these units, we're going to break out the calculator and start by dividing the number 12 into it to get 7.12. And you can use different numbers. For example, I could use 11, 13, 15, 8, 9, 10, but 12 seems to be a pretty good number. So next up, after we have this, we are going to round it off to the highest or lowest, which in our case is going to be 7. And this will be the number of units that we are going to have and steps. So next up, we can go ahead and divide 7 into 85.437 to get 12.20, or 12 3/16 inches, which is what we have here. 1 foot, or 1 foot equals 12 inches. And if we count them here, we will have 7 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all you will need to do will be to lay out the top of the guide board and make sure that each one of these lines are equally spaced and that all of these units are exactly the same. Otherwise, you're going to end up with different size steps. And before you even do that, you might want to double check the first step. And in order to create our tread line, all we need to do is level from this point or this point in both directions. So we're simply going to level from here, level here, and that is going to be from this point here on the other side. And then we will create a vertical level or plumb line off of these points also. And then once we have that, we can check these measurements to make sure that they are going to be acceptable to us and our local building department. And for example, if they are not, then you're probably going to need to watch a few more videos on the playlist. Or you can go ahead and change the length of these units by dividing a smaller number. And if we use smaller numbers like 6 instead of 7, we're going to end up with longer treads and taller risers. And if we use a larger number like 8 instead of 7, we're going to end up with smaller steps and smaller risers. And in some cases, you're not going to be able to build a safe stairway. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at how the concrete matches up with these points. And that's what I like about my videos. I can bring stuff in and pull it out to give you an idea of what we're doing. And you can see how these lines, each one of them lines up with the front of the tread, top of the riser. And when you level down and level across, you're going to get the top of the tread and the front of the riser. Now let's go ahead and remove the stairway to provide you with a view of how this could actually look like a stringer for a conventional stairway that you might find built in a home. And I would definitely double check all of these measurements all the way up to make sure that they are within 3/8 of an inch, which might be one of your local building codes. You can't have more than 3/8 of an inch variance between the smallest and longest point for a riser or a tread. And I do have other videos on that at the website in the building code area. Definitely check those out. And now let's go ahead and take a look at how you can add another board to the other side and a couple of riser boards here to form your stairway. Just remember that the lumber for the risers will need to go on this side because the lines that you drew represent the finished concrete. And try to avoid putting these boards on this side. I've even done that myself before, and that's where using screws comes in. If you use screws to attach everything together, then you can usually remove the screws and adjust everything without a lot of trouble. And if you notice for this stairway, we had to remove some soil from underneath the upper landing to provide us with a line here that would be parallel to this line and providing additional structural strength for the stairway. However, you can actually stop the stairs right here if that's going to work for you. And next up, let's take a look at some estimated ratios for mixing concrete, because to achieve precise PSI requires careful measurement, consistent material quality, proper mixing techniques, and curing conditions. And let's not forget that some projects will require you to consult a concrete professional or an engineer. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. And first on the list is that we need to make sure that you understand what a part is. And this is going to refer to any unit of measurement, like a shovel or a bucket, as long as it's going to be consistent for all ingredients. As far as water is concerned, you need to remember that the amount of water significantly affects concrete strength. So use the least amount of water possible to achieve a workable mix. As far as gravel size goes, generally the maximum gravel size is going to be 1 inch. However, the most common is going to be 3/4 of an inch. And the size and shape of the gravel can also affect the concrete strength. And let's not forget that proper curing is essential for achieving the desired strength. So keep the concrete moist for at least the first 7 days. Next up, let's take a look at a 2500 PSI mix. That's going to be 1 part cement, 3 parts sand, 4 parts gravel. And you're going to use 5.5 gallons of water per 94-pound bag of cement. And as far as a 3000 PSI mix goes, we're going to reduce the amount of gravel to 3 parts and reduce the amount of water to 5 gallons. And for a 4000 PSI mix, we're going to go with 1 part cement, 2 parts sand, 3 parts gravel, and 4.5 gallons of water per 94-pound bag or sack of cement. So it isn't too difficult to figure out that a little less water and a little more cement is going to create stronger mixtures. However, at the same time, a little more water can make the concrete a lot easier to work with. And next up, let's take a look at another video that might provide you with a little more information about working with concrete and building stairs.
When it comes to constructing concrete stairs, you have 2 primary options: pour them in multiple sections, or opt for a single, monolithic pour. While both methods result in functional stairs, a monolithic pour offers a range of advantages that make it the superior choice for many projects. Let's explore why. 1. Enhanced strength and durability. Seamless construction. A monolithic pour eliminates joints between steps, which are inherent weak points in multi-pour stairs. These joints are susceptible to cracking, chipping, and water damage over time. A single pour creates a continuous, unified structure, significantly enhancing overall strength and durability. Superior load distribution. With a monolithic pour, the load is distributed evenly across the entire structure. This is crucial for stairs, which experience concentrated stress at various points. A unified pour minimizes the risk of localized failures and ensures long-term stability. 2. Improved aesthetics. Clean and modern look. Monolithic stairs have a sleek, uninterrupted appearance. The absence of joints creates a smooth, continuous flow that complements modern architectural styles. Design flexibility. A single pour allows for greater design freedom. You can achieve complex shapes, curves, and cantilevered designs with more ease than with segmented construction. 3. Efficiency and cost-effectiveness. Reduced labor costs. While the initial formwork might be more complex, a monolithic pour ultimately reduces labor time. You eliminate the need for multiple setups, concrete deliveries, and finishing work associated with multiple pours. Faster construction. A single pour significantly speeds up the construction process. This minimizes project timelines and allows for quicker completion. 4. Minimized maintenance. Reduced cracking and damage. The absence of joints minimizes the risk of cracking and water damage, which are common maintenance issues in multi-pour stairs. The smooth, continuous surface of monolithic stairs is easier to clean and maintain than stairs with multiple joints and crevices. 5. Enhanced safety. A monolithic pour creates a uniform, level surface, reducing the risk of tripping hazards that can occur with uneven settlement in multi-pour stairs. The superior strength and stability of a monolithic pour enhance overall safety, providing a secure and reliable structure for years to come. While a monolithic pour might present some initial challenges in terms of formwork complexity, the long-term benefits outweigh the initial effort. By prioritizing strength, durability, aesthetics, and efficiency, a monolithic pour is undoubtedly the superior choice for constructing concrete stairs in most scenarios.
And thanks for watching. Also, don't forget to visit our website. We have an organized list of our videos there. You might have a difficult time finding that anywhere else.